Hey, welcome back to your favorite channel on Python projects. Learn Python by projects. So, build projects and learn Python. That's the easiest way to learn Python. So, let's get started. Today's project is what? Is about rock, paper, scissors, your favorite game. Okay, so first you have to import the getPass as input. The reason we are importing this getPass is so that when two players are using the game, are playing the game, one doesn't get to see the other person's input. That's it. Import emoji, so because I want to make some funny pictures to represent the game. Okay, so print emoji.emojize. That's the code we use. Welcome to the game of rock and paper and scissors. And if you notice the two colons before and after rock, paper and scissors, this is the code for emojize, emoji.emojize, in order to get the sign of the rock, paper, scissors in a symbolic way on the console, on the screen. So print emoji.emojize, then R stands for rock. This is what your printing statement to show on the screen. The instructions for the game. Print emoji.emojize. P stands for paper. Yeah, again, we show the paper sign, the paper visual. So all these visuals will be shown by doing emoji.emojize. Though, of course, there are other codes to show visuals, but I feel comfortable with emoji.emojize. So it shows the three pictures for rock, paper, and scissors by doing this emoji.emojize. This kind of a code, it will come out on the screen. This is kind of instruction saying what kind of game it is. Then the print blank statement as usual, so that the print will be executed. And then the possible actions. Now the possible actions are what the users are supposed to choose. So we just call it possible actions or possible moves. You can call it whichever way. So R, P, and S. That is, R stands for rock, P, paper, S, scissors. And we don't forget to show it with the inverted. That is a string sign. Yeah. Then print, choose your actions, comma, the possible actions. This you already know. When I use the variable possible actions here, after a comma, it shouldn't be within the inverts. And it will give out the values on the screen, RPS. Then again, the print blank statement for executing it. Score of the player 1 and 2 initialized to 0 because they haven't started playing yet, right? Now, as usual, we use a while loop for a game because we need the while loop while it is true. So while the game is being played, so we always start with while true. So while the users are playing the game, while true, what is happening? Player 1 action. So for that, you need to input player 1 with a space. So the player 1 has a space to input his whatever move. Same holds for player 2 action. So this way, these variables, we will be using the input. Yeah, we will be using the built-in input function in order to get the values of, in order to get and store the values of player 1 and player 2. So then again, within the while true loop, we use the if-elif loop. Yeah, so this, inside the true loop, while true, you have the if-elif loop. So if the player 1 action is rock, that is R, and again within that loop, it's a nested loop. So within the if player 1 action is, move is R, then if player 2 action, what is it? We consider the first move as R. So that means considering a possibility where player 1 takes a move of R or action of R, and player 2 takes an action R. So print, you both choose rock. It's a tie, definitely, because both did the same thing. Elif, player 2 action is the scissors. Now remember, we are considering a scenario where player 1 is rock and player 2 has different options, is using different options. So that way we'll rotate it. So elif, player 2 action is scissors, then print, player 1's rock hits player 2's scissors. Obviously, who is stronger? The rock is stronger than the scissors. So the rock is going to hit and smash the scissors. So who will win? Player 1, because he represents the rocks. rock. Okay, then whoever wins, you have to write the score for him to record it. So score player 1 plus equal to 1. Now this means score of player 1 plus equal to 1 means score player 1 equals score player 1 plus 1. So that means you're every time incrementing by 1. So first, when he was not playing, it was 0. Then after that, plus equal to 1 becomes 0 plus 1, 1, and so on and so forth until the game proceeds and he is winning. So we only record the game in each session for the winner. Then again, LF, player 2. So this is within the if loop, the if loop whereby the player 1 is rock. Remember that. So player 2 is scissors. Okay, this one we just finished. So first player 1 rock, player 2 rock. Then player 1 rock, player 2 scissors. We finished that. Now the next option is player 1 rock, which is already there in the if statement. Player 2 will be rock, paper, paper. So paper is left, yeah. So let's do that. Now here I'm just correcting the indent. Remember to maintain the indent block. Now the indent is difficult to show while I'm teaching here, but it will automatically come when you're using the code editor of Python. It will automatically fall on there, and in case you do make a mistake in indentation like I did, you need to remove that concern line and re-enter or retype everything, because in Python it's very difficult, it gets complicated. That's why I keep checking all the time after every indentation. Okay, now the next scene is score player 1. Okay, this part we already done. I was just rewriting it. So, okay, somewhere wrong in the indentation. Okay, let me check it out. You both choose. Okay, rock, 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 scissor. Okay, let me correct that while you understand the concept. I hope you understood. And then I'll be doing more such tutorials for learning Python using projects. Make sure you watch until the end to understand the game. Step by step, I'm teaching you here, and also the concepts that go with it. And do remember to subscribe so that you can get the notification, bell notification on time. Okay. I'm just retyping it as you've seen. Whenever I go wrong with the indentation, I remove the lines, the concerned lines where the indent block is wrong, and then I retype it again. If you just return, it doesn't work. I've tried several times. You cannot manipulate using the keys. You need to delete everything, the concerned line, and then retype. And that way you learn to code also. That's a good idea. Okay, let's say where I have got wrong, but the concept is pretty clear, I hope. I already spoke about the basic concepts here. So, okay, so player 1 action, player 2 action. You already understood the variables player 1 action and player 2 action. How we are using the input function to store the values and get the values. Okay. Okay, so just doing a bit of debugging here, which is very annoying. So first we had the while loop, and then within the while loop we had the if loop, and the if loop again nested, because here there's an if loop for saying the value of the player 1, which starts with a value of rock. So first we consider a value of value of player 1 as rock, and then the different options of rock, paper, scissors for player 2, and write the score. Then after that we'll give, in the next loop it will be player 1 with a value of paper and scissors accordingly. Okay. So just repeating it, sorry if you're getting a bit bored, but I'll just kind of quickly be done over with the debugging, just retyping it again to get the indentation right. And remember here, if player action is rock, then player 2 action is rock. If you see, it's nested within the if. Yeah. After typing, it goes back into the same line. It visually feels like that, but the if for the user 2 is actually nested within the if for the user 1, because it's that condition where player 1 is playing rock. Okay. And yeah, okay. So remember, in Python you'll be using if and elif if there are lots of choices, lots of options like here. Okay. Okay, now I'm just retyping again. Player 1 rock, player 2 rock, tie finish. Player 1 rock already there. Player 2 action is scissors. Then obviously the rock is going to hit the scissors. Player 1 is going to win. Yeah. So I write that as a print statement, because remember, print is an inbuilt function for Python. So whatever you write, the string within the print function, inbuilt function, will show on the screen. So that's the idea for you to read. Okay. Player 1 wins. Now you record the store of player 1, and the variable for storing storing the score of player 1 is, we call it score player 1, so that it's easy to remember. Yeah, that's up to you again. You can use any kind of name, as long as the variable is clear enough to the user and anybody would understand what that variable is doing. So here I call it score player 1, so that I can easily remember, and someone else reading it can easily understand that it's actually for recording the score of player 1. So that was the idea. Okay, next case. Now that I've shown you one option, you can actually code with me, and in your code editor you can go ahead and do the different options, the different moves. You must have already understood by now. So even though I'm stuck here on the indentation, you can just continue doing the code. I've already told you how to play the moves. Yeah. So I'm here at score player 1 plus equal to 1. Okay. So the first one, the player 1 is winning. So on and so forth, just continue doing it. Okay. So as you can see on the screen, it's showing you the symbol of rock, paper and scissors. That was the idea using the emoji.emojize to show you the rock, paper, scissor symbols. Okay. So you can also import getPass. It's up to you. Okay. Okay, now I try the values. Okay, yes, it's coming. So it's correct. So every time you put the option of the values or the actions for player 1 and player 2, immediately go and check it out. Run the editor and check it out if whatever you have written, mentioned to be printed out, player 1 wins, player 2 wins, and the score, is it reading there? There, it's reading. So it's going fine until here. Now, next choice, elif, the player 2 action is P. Yeah, so this is the last choice. Rock finished, scissors finished, now P. Now what happens? Who is smarter? The paper or the rock? Obviously, the paper will cover the rock. So paper will win. So who is winning? There you go. The winner will be the person standing for the paper, which is player 2. So then you record the score for player 2 plus equals 1. Then again, player 1 action, paper. First it was rock, remember? So we go back to the first loop. So that first was rock. Now we consider when the player 1 is paper. And then player 2 is scissors. So who is stronger, paper or scissors? Obviously scissors. The player 2 scissors will cut the paper, of player 1. So player 2 wins. So then score the innings or record the score of player 2. So this is how you go about it. So player 1 is paper in this instance, remember. Yeah. So you finished the different options. First rock, then paper. Yeah. And in paper, when the user 1 or player 1 is taking an action or option of paper, then what actions are the player 2 taking? That is the loop that you have to do. Okay. Indentation, you have to be very careful because this is nested. Sometimes you may have to do over and over again. So player 1 action P, I'm just repeating it because somewhere along the line I went wrong in the indent. Sorry about that. It's very frustrating in Python. So if player 2 action is, now the second condition is both are paper. So if both are paper, it's a tie. So you have to write print, it's a tie. Both choose paper. Yeah. So like this and so on and so forth until the player 2 consumes all the actions. Okay. Now next one, the rock one I already mentioned last time. So player 1 is paper, player 2 is rock. So obviously who is winning? The paper will cover the rock. So paper wins. Take the record of the paper, which is player 1. He is winning, so take the score as plus equals 1. Then again, player 2 action, scissors. When the player 1 is paper. So who is going to win? Obviously, the scissors will win. Player 2 will win because scissors can cut paper, right? That's the idea of the rock, paper, scissors. Okay, so then who is winning? The player 2 will win. So take the score of player 2. Score player 2 plus equals 1. I hope I'm not going too fast. Okay, score to player plus equals 1. You can make the speed a bit less if you want to pause and then watch again. So, there you go. Just testing it out. Player 1 paper, player 2 rock. Okay, who's winning? Okay, paper covers rock. Scissors and paper, player 2 wins. Because paper is cutting the scissor. Scissor is cutting the paper, sorry. So just keep a proper score and remember what you're typing. Overall, you have to remember who's the stronger in the options when you're playing the options. Rock versus scissors, scissors versus paper, and so on. Okay, so we already done until here. Next, what other actions? If player 2 is P, that is paper. That is, player 1 is already paper. Player 2 also paper, which means both are same. Now you can do in any order. You don't need to take the order that I do, right? So both of them are taking paper. So both choose paper. It's a tie. Okay. So paper. I'm just testing out. After every action, choosing options, I am testing it out whether the statement is coming. It's coming. Both choose paper. It's a tie. So that's done until here. Okay. Am I right in the indentation? Right. Until here. Okay. So far, so forth. So this you have to keep continuing with the next set of moves. So we finished with player 1 is rock. We finished with player 1 is paper. Next move is the first loop. If player 1 is scissors. So again, back to the outer loop. This is outer loop, remember. You have an outer loop and a nested inner loop. So outer loop, go back to outer loop. If player 1 action is scissors. So nested within that, if player 2 action is rock. So who is stronger? The rock will break the scissor. So player 2 will win. Yeah. So player 2 will win. Record the score. Score 2 of player plus equals 1. Then just test it out. Okay. So we've done until here. So player 1 is scissors, remember. So player 1 scissors, plays 2 rock. Then we can have another action of if player 2 is rock, we finish. So player 2 is left with scissors and paper. Okay. So next, if player 2 action is paper, what happens? Remember, player 1 is scissors. So who's stronger? Scissors. So player 1 will win in that case. So player 1 scissors will cut player 2's paper, right? It's very easy. This is already the rock, paper, scissors game. So who is winning? The person having the scissors will win, which was player 1. So record the score of player 1. I'm just testing it out again. The last action, whatever I wrote over there, I just come here and print it out and see whether I'm getting the same output as expected, who's winning and who's scoring, and if the score is coming. Yeah. Then last is, so here we are at, remember the outer loop was player 1 is S. So here last option, player 2 also S. So both choose S, scissors, so it's a tie. So we finish with all the outer loop and inner loop. Yeah. So done with all the moves. So that's the easiest way to do. An outer loop for the player, whatever he chooses, player 1. Inner loop for player 2, 3 options. Then again go back to outer loop for the next move of player 1. From rock, paper, scissors, again nested for player 2 and this way. So here print player 1 has score player 1 is a variable, wins. Print player 2 has, that is a string, score player 2 is a variable, wins. So if you write like this, the variable's value, score player 1 value, score player 2 value will come out in the print function statement. And then remember, if score of player 1, the value score player 1 equals to 3 and variable score player 2 equals 3. So because otherwise it will be infinity, right? So if both of them achieves a value of 3 for the players, then thanks for playing the fantastic. That means you want to end the game. You otherwise be prepared to go on playing endlessly. So this is a way of giving a condition when they want to thank and then end with the game. Yeah. So I'm testing it out. There you go. There. Okay. So I just give different options. Yeah, it's coming out fine. You just give different options for player 1 and then as per the statement in the loop, and then you test. Here, player 1 has 3 wins, player 2 has 9 wins. So when both of them have 3, you end the game with a thank you statement, then you quit. And then if you use the quit function to quit